healthy, stay empowered. Topical discussions from nutrition, mental health to fitness to family planning and battling chronic illnesses with top professionals, expert advice, and practical solutions to today's most pressing health issues. We bring you the knowledge and tools to take control of your health. Only on Global. Arthritis. For the older individuals, this rings a bell. Arthritis is a medical condition that causes inflammation, pain, stiffness, and swelling in one or more joints of the body. It can affect people of all ages, though it's more common in older adults. Now, you understand when I said it rings a bell. Arthritis can make movement difficult and reduce a person's quality of life if not properly managed. Hello and welcome to Health Guide. I am Jumai Manson. Today I am being joined by Dr. Peter Deshi. He is a consultant, trauma and orthopedic surgeon at the NNPC Medical Services Limited, Abuja, and he is also a medical advisor, Accident and Trauma Care Foundation. Don't go anywhere. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned. Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. Topical discussions from nutrition, mental health to fitness to family planning and battling chronic illnesses with top professionals, expert advice, and practical solutions to today's most pressing health issues. We bring you the knowledge and tools to take control of your health. Only on Global. Right, you're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Health Guide on Global Television. Now, over now to Dr. Peter as he speaks on arthritis. Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. All right, this Health Guide on Global Television, and like I mentioned from the preamble, I am not doing this alone, and it's all about arthritis. And I have here with me a very important personality, Dr. Peter Deshi. He is a consultant trauma orthopedic surgeon at the NNPC Medical Service Limited, and also he is a medical advisor at the Accident and Trauma Care Foundation. Good evening, Dr. Peter Deshi. How are you doing today?
Good evening on Global Television on News.
Now, talking about arthritis, now explain to us, what's that all about?
Arthritis, in very simple terms, it means wear and tear.
Wear and tear?
Yes, wear and tear. Yeah, just like the tire of your car wears out, your shoes wears out. Arthritis is a disease of the joints, and essentially it's wear and tear. You know, from the time you're 9 months, most people start working by 9 months, some by 1 year. From that moment, taking 8 hours of sleep away until whatever is your age, you work on your joints. So these joints, day in, day out. Your joints, your ankle, your knees, your hips, your shoulders are all working. So it's wears and tears as the age goes on. So essentially, arthritis is a wear and tear of the joints as the age advances. So as simple as that.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, simple as that. But of course, the older you are, the more it wears out. So if you observe, arthritis is more common as the age advances. But I must add, arthritis is more common in those whom God has allowed to live long. So it's a disease. It's an inconvenience of the privilege of aging. Only those who are privileged to age tend to have arthritis. Those who die young don't have arthritis. So if you have arthritis, it's a privilege that God is allowing you to live long. So as I said, it's simply wear and tear. And everybody has some form of arthritis or the other. At some time, as you pass from 40 years old, everybody is entitled to one form of arthritis or the other.
So now, what are the types of arthritis and how do they differ?
The common arthritis, the one I said, due to aging wear and tear, is called the osteoarthritis. The commonest type of arthritis. Nobody escapes it as long as God permits you to live long. Simply, it comes with aches, some pains, some stiffness, occasionally some swelling from fluid accumulation. But it varies in individuals. Some people with arthritis of the knees, some arthritis with the hip joint, some at the ankles. Commonly, the weight bearing joints are more victims. So that's the common is that everybody thinks arthritis. And it's not a deadly disease. I notice a lot of people really get scared when they say they have arthritis. Please tell them out there. No, if I'm to choose a disease, I'll choose arthritis.
Really?
Because it's wear and tear
Oh my goodness.
of the limbs. So, and it's not everybody that it doesn't advance beyond a few people that advance beyond needing more serious treatment. Majority of the people it goes on with common treatment and it goes on. That's the main form of arthritis. Of course, there are other forms of arthritis, which you could say are a bit more serious forms and require more serious treatment. The commonest, that is worrisome, is one that has some immunological components. We have immune-related diseases. This type of arthritis are not necessarily due to wear and tear. Particularly, a common example is rheumatoid arthritis, where your immune system is supposed to distinguish between your tissues and invaders like bacteria and so on to attack the bacteria and leave the tissues. But in this disease, somehow the immune system starts attacking cells of the joint, and so it destroys the joints, secretes a lot of fluids, deforms it. Yes, sir, the rheumatoid arthritis are good, but it's a very small percentage. I know what panics the public is when they say you have arthritis. Hey, you probably remember one grandmother or one uncle that had some deformed fingers, but it's very, very uncommon. But it does exist. But the common one that nobody escapes, as long as you are privileged to it, is the osteoarthritis. Simply comes with pain, some stiffness, some swelling,
you said.
and especially when the weather is cold. But good disease to have because it's treatable and the outcome is really good.
We're going to come to that, Dr. Peter. Now, I want to ask a question. For someone out there that is wondering arthritis, and you say to yourself, is it hereditary? Does it come from that form? Because you said once a doctor tells an individual that he or she has arthritis, it goes to maybe the person inherited it from the father, the grandfather. Is it?
The common form of arthritis, osteoarthritis. The inheritance is not very categorical. Few people, yes, some grandmoms, some mother has some arthritis, and they tend to develop arthritis. But as I said, majority of the people would have some form of arthritis. A backache, the form of arthritis is not like probably you're not seeing a doctor because the joints of the back also can develop arthritis. But in that instance, it's called spondylosis, the neck, the shoulders. So, but it's not that the osteoarthritis is not a few people, yes, it runs in some families, but the majority of the osteoarthritis we get are just, as I said, wear and tear of. If you can calculate, remove 8 hours of sleep. Every day you work on your legs and you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old, you can know the number of hours. So it's naturally subjected to the wear and tear like anything. So, but the rheumatoid arthritis, and there are some, yes, they have a strong genetic component. If you get a member of the family that has had it before, you have a tendency from the family to have it. As I said, these are rare.
Yes,
the arthritis that we know. So if you are above 40, it's an entitlement to have some form of arthritis.
But it's possible that some people who are 40 do not even experience this.
Yeah, it could be. It could be ongoing, but it's not symptomatic.
Okay, talking about it not being systematic, what are the early signs, or would I say the warning signs of an individual getting close to having arthritis?
You see, when you use the word warning sign, it becomes too alarming.
But it is. It's painful, isn't it? You said
What are the signs? Are the warning signs?
Because definitely the body. I am not. You are the professional, so the body will give you that warning. Hey, you have to take it easy now, or something. So those are the warning signs.
Especially after sitting for a long time. some aches when you want to start moving, the pain, you have some pain and stiffness. Wake up in the mornings, so you have some stiffness and pains in the joints. You probably need to negotiate before you stand up and when you start walking. It's before it disappears. Occasionally, some swellings, mornings, and stiffness. These are the things that go with arthritis: pain, swelling, and stiffness in varying extent.
So now I want to ask a question. What are some lifestyle choices that can help one create that balance? Because you said it's like a gift. The longer you're alive, it's a gift. But basically at the same time, lifestyle choices, how can you balance it? So an individual has arthritis, but at the same time you're trying to control it in order to stay healthy and in order for your limbs to still move.
Absolutely, not just for arthritis. Lifestyle choices affect the general health. So, good nutrition, fruits and vegetables, you can never go wrong. When you start aging 35, 40, aging starts around 35, 40, to varying degrees for various people. Fruits and vegetables, you have everything in your fruits and vegetables. Occasionally, some small carbohydrate. 2, regular walks. The more you walk, the more you exercise it needs. I'm not telling you to jog, not to run, no.
How about exercise?
Walk. The best form of exercise is brisk walk. Simple brisk walk.
So for someone that likes to climb up the staircase, up and
Then
down.
I say walking. They're walking, exercising their joints. So brisk walk, good rest, get enough sleep. You control your weight, control your diet. But let me put it, arthritis is not caused by weight. It's only aggravated by your weight. So those who are big are not necessarily having arthritis because of their weight.
Really?
They're just developing arthritis like any other person, but the weight now, because the heavy weight now puts more pressure on the joints and making the symptoms that become. So I mean, you see very heavy people, doesn't mean they must have arthritis, no. But if your weight is getting out of hand, we ask you to control your weight. But fundamentally, the arthritis is caused by, like another person, wear and tear, and then a previous injury to the joint accelerates the onset of arthritis. Previous infection, commonly in childhood, when children are playing football, you get injuries, have some fractures, have some bleeding to the joint. Of course, it gets well over time. Sometimes you have some infection and fever. These are minor injuries in the joint in childhood. But it affects the earlier onset of arthritis as you age.
Really?
Yeah. So those that have had injuries to a joint or an infection in the joint or some surgery to the joint usually have a tendency to have an earlier onset of arthritis in these joints.
All right, you've said a lot when it comes to arthritis. You've mentioned a lot. It has to do with age. You said from 40 above and all of that. But what happens when an individual is diagnosed with arthritis and ignores self-care, ignores exercise, ignores good food, and just lives life? What's the consequences of that particular way of life?
The principle and hope in the treatment of arthritis is that we want to keep the patient as painless, as healthy, joint-wise, to as old as possible before any intervention, if any. So it's important that the patient should follow our instructions. If he or she does not follow our instructions, naturally the situation will deteriorate. Becomes more painful, loss of hours of going to work, excuse duties of duty, and generally, the patient will not be unhappy and productive. So, you need the joints to move.
Sure.
Yeah, so if it does not follow our instructions, of course, conditions may deteriorate faster, and will require more aggressive treatment. But commonly, the treatment of simple arthritis is very simple. Care, some things to rub, some painkillers, and live a good life. But if you ignore the instructions, you become a candidate for us to do more aggressive intervention. Probably sometimes even to bring the surgical knife into the joint, which we do not want to do. We never want to bring the death knife into it if we can help it.
But you can get to that point.
It does reach that level in some very few people.
Oh wow. Now, what role can family, communities play in this? When an individual has arthritis, when a family member has arthritis, so what role can the family and community play to ease it on the individual?
First and foremost, I think we need a lot of public awareness about arthritis. The community should know, and people should know it's not a deadly disease, it's not a death sentence.
It's not contagious.
It's not contagious. So, he or she that has arthritis, sometimes, of course, some of them need some walking aids, so they need all the support from the family. And they are not outcasts, they should be integrated and participate in all social activities in the community. Maybe we cannot jump to play volleyball, we can sit down and chat with everybody, and hold all the parties, can sit down, party without necessarily standing. So it's a disease that they can fully be part of the society. And as I said, it's not as crippling. Only a very few types of arthritis are crippling, but majority of the aging arthritis is just like graying of the hair.
It's a phase of life.
Yeah, or I'm using glasses now. 10 years ago, I was using glasses, all part of it. The skin changes. And so, when I say this, it's a graceful movement to the next age and to the next age.
But let me ask, when you mention the types of arthritis, does it progress? Like from the mild, then it increases like that? Is there a progression? Because you said something about crippling is it possible?
Yes, there are a few people who have osteoarthritis and normal arthritis, and the progression could be aggressive. Maybe 5% of the population. But 40 is already a problem. Joints are getting problematic, pain, stiffness. That we probably would have to do some intervention, even at that age, but it's a small number. We've had to replace joints at 45 years of age.
Really?
Yes. These are the people that we say are unfortunate for the arthritic process to have gone aggressively, but it's not a very common feature. It does happen. So, you know why God is popular on the world? Not necessarily minor the social interaction and networking about God. The most important part is the health aspect. And the most important part of this is that God affords and permits purposeful walking. There's an objective of hitting the ball to put in a hole.
Oh.
That's why it's popular.
The distance in which you
cover. You're walking. You have an objective of walking. Only those in the armed forces and the paramilitary forces have the discipline to wake up in the morning and walk around their neighborhood. That's fine. If they can do that, but most of the people need something to make them to walk. So if you see, that's why we check. Are they running? They're chatting. That's good. After the age of 40, that's the best form of exercise. Simply walk, and it helps the joints effectively.
And a balanced diet.
Oh yes. But it helps the joints. Go to the golf club and see 80-year-olds playing golf, 90-year-olds playing golf. Why? Because the joints have been moving, they've been mobile.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does. Now, for someone who is going through a hard time with arthritis, trying to balance, oh my goodness, what is happening, a lot of emotions, the joint pains and all of that, look into the camera and say something to that individual.
Arthritis is not a deadly disease, essentially. It has treatment. Follow our instructions. Don't go against what the doctor tells you. Do the right thing. But as much as the pain can allow, please take a little walk. But it's a very treatable disease. And if it gets to the worst level, even if we have to do surgical intervention, one of the best things that has happened to surgery in modern times is that the surgery of joint replacement. It's probably one of the most successful surgeries that man has devised, and it's quite, the outcome is quite successful and very gratifying. So the guy out there, the person out there, arthritis is no condemnation. There's a way out. You can return to full, active, and normal life.
At this point, let's talk about sickle cell and arthritis. Now, explain all of that, because you see sickle cell patients who have all of these joint pains. Can you call those joint pains arthritis?
Yes, in usage of the term, arthritis simply means inflammation of the joints.
Mm-hmm.
I know when we qualified it as osteoarthritis,
Okay.
yes, sickle patients. First of all, you should know that Africa, and particularly Nigeria, has one of the highest number of sickle cell persons and children in the world. So dealing with sickle cell patients is quite a serious problem. And one of the commonest complications of sickle cell is bone complications. They easily get bone infections and joint infections very easily, and particularly the hip joints. And because blood supply to the bones, especially the hip, the round bones of the hip, the round head of the bone, it easily gets necrotic because the blood supply in a sickle patient does not reach the head. And so very easily the head gets dead. And so the head of the femur crumbles, and the child is left with. Now, I told you secondary arthritis is caused by injury. So then the child now develops secondary arthritis at a very young age, probably both hips, painful, and so on. So it's I just as I said, sickle cell is better prevented than treated.
It's better prevented than treated.
Yes, because the sufferings the patients go through, and particularly when you are doing orthopedic surgery, the kind of things you have to do to salvage some joints, some knees, as a result of sickle cell disease is quite daunting, and the outcome, of course, we have distraught hips and so on. But there's another group of people who are AS, but they're not AE, they're not SS. Or SC, not the other form of sickle is SC. These two group of people, AS and SC, they are not full-blown sicklers, they're only carriers of
Yes,
the
carriers.
Yeah, they also have a problem. Maybe 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000, maybe. As they start getting to aging, 40, 50, some of them start developing either arthritis of the hip or the shoulder. The same thing that happened to the sickler in young age, because the blood supply is not too efficient into the head of the femur. The head of the femur now starts getting necrotic because of poor blood supply. And so if you see a patient that's AS at 40, 45, starts having pains in his hip and his shoulder, he has developed a secondary arthritis as a result of a necrosis of the head of the femur. But that's the only thing an AS might suffer. But it's very rare. It's not everybody, maybe 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 700. But they do develop arthritis. That is carriers now. The sickling right from the beginning, you battle with them every day, one hip or the other, one bone infected. I just pray that the gene therapy has come in, for stem cell therapy. It gives a lot of hope. It has started the new Nexim, Afrexim hospital that's built in Abuja, the Afrexim Bank, a great hospital with the intention of reducing medical tourism overseas for Africans.
Okay.
And I'm sure also the NMPC is on its way to do that too. This high-tech stem cell. It's very simple. This is the only solution for sicklers, I'm sure.
Sicklers and arthritis in which they
No, the sickling itself, the sickling phenomenon.
Okay, but I want to ask you now something about stroke patients and arthritis. Do they go through that? Stroke, individuals that suffer from stroke. Is it still a process also? Or since
Stroke, as you said, stroke is a cardiovascular accident. Whether stroke, essentially, when the blood is dislodged from usually the limbs or anywhere else. Clogs the blood supply to the portion of the brain. And that portion gets infected, loses blood. And so it's probably that portion gets destroyed. Sometimes the whole bleeding goes into the brain and the full hemorrhage into the brain. Sometimes there's an infection of the portion of the brain. And of course, end up needing a lot of rehabilitation because there could be some partial paralysis, things like that. But
do they suffer arthritis also?
Yeah, the stroke has nothing to do with their arthritis if they do have arthritis.
Okay.
So, but of course, when the hand or the leg gets paralyzed, they are not moving the hips or the shoulders well, so they are more subject to the arthritic process than someone that moves. I told you that movement is life to the joint.
Yes, you said that.
So the joints affected in the stroke patient might, of course, have a higher chance of developing arthritis.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Dashi, for your input when it comes to arthritis, touching on various areas from sickle cell patients to stroke patients to the elderly. And of course, 40 years, like you mentioned, could actually suffer from arthritis also, right?
You get it.
Dr. Peter Dashi, he is a consultant, a trauma and orthopedic surgeon. He works with NNPC Medical Service Limited. And of course, he is a medical advisor, Accident and Trauma Care Foundation. Thank you so much for being a part of Health Guide.
Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. In conclusion, arthritis remains one of the most common health conditions affecting millions worldwide, regardless of age or background. It causes pain, stiffness, and limited mobility. But with early diagnosis, proper treatment, and healthy lifestyle, choices it impacts can be greatly reduced. Let us remember that regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and routine medical checkups play a key role in managing arthritis and improving quality of life. Now, most importantly, awareness and support can help those living with the condition stay active, independent, and hopeful. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Dashi. He is a consultant, trauma and orthopedic surgeon at the NNPC Medical Service Limited, Abuja, and also a medical advisor, Accident and Trauma Care Foundation. Thank you for staying with us on today's program. Together, let's continue to promote good health and awareness for all. I am Jumai Manson. Bye-bye. Stay informed, stay healthy, stay empowered. Topical discussions from nutrition, mental health, to fitness, to family planning and battling chronic illnesses with top professionals, expert advice, and practical solutions to today's most pressing health issues. We bring you the knowledge and tools to take control of your health, only on Global